Alright, so we have been factoring trinomials in the last few videos. This video is going to be about factoring quadrinomials, which most of you haven't heard that word because not a lot of teachers call it that. They just say, hey, we're going to factor by grouping. And grouping is right. That's the way most of you learned. I do this in the box as well, so I'm going to show you both in one video instead of making separate videos this time. So the example, oh my, let's try again. The example we're going to start with is, let me go back and find it, 3b to the third plus 9b squared plus 5b plus 15. All right, if you did the factor by grouping on trinomials, you've already seen this, but we're going to go through it again step by step. There's 4 pieces here. If you check for a GCF, 3 and 9 and 15 have one, 5 and 15 have one, but 5 does not go with the other 3 altogether. So, no GCF. You group the first 2 terms and the last 2 terms together. Even though there was a plus in the middle, I kept it with the 5b and I'm putting another plus just so that we get in that habit. Because if it's a minus there, it's very important that it goes into the second parenthesis. Next, we look for our GCF for each group. So what GCF can we take out of here? 3 and 9 can both be divided by 3. B to the third and b squared, you always take the smaller power of the variable as long as everybody has that variable. Remember, when you take out a GCF, you're dividing and it stays out front. It's kind of like undistribute. And that gives us 3 divided by 3 is 1, b to the third over b squared is b, plus 9 divided by 3 is 3, b squared over b squared is 1. I don't need to multiply by 1. Here, what do these two have in common? Well, 5 and 15 can both divide by 5. The first one has a b, the second one does not, so I cannot use the variable. So if I take out a 5, here, 5 divided by 5 is 1. I keep the b, plus 15 divided by 5 is 3. If you've done this right and the problem works out, then these two pieces should match. So if you look at it as this is your first term and this is your second term, what is your GCF now? I can divide everything by b plus 3. Just like before, the GCF sits out front. So these are gone now because I took it out. And it left me with 3b squared plus 5. Some people do the GCF at the back of that. I don't know why, but it's not a big deal either way. Now I want to look at the same problem, but I want to use the box method, which is factoring by grouping. It just uses a graphic organizer. Plus 5b plus 15. So just so you know, some of these problems can be done in different orders and it wouldn't matter. It would still come out with the right answer. Sometimes the order needs to be tweaked a little bit before you can actually take out a good GCF to make the 2 parentheses that are left over match. So just kind of, if that happens, if you work it out and it's not coming out right, move your numbers around a little bit and see what happens. We already know this one works. Since there are 4 pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, the box I'm going to use is going to have 4 panes, and we are going to take this apart. If I taught you how to multiply with a box, this is just dividing with a box. So it's taken the 4 pieces that you got when you multiplied. Since they're all positive, I don't actually have to have a sign there, but it's sometimes helpful. There's the 4 pieces, and basically you're saying, oh, well, what did I multiply to get these things? The way we do that is we take a GCF out of the top 2 to the left and the bottom 2 to the left. So positive 3 and 9 have a positive 3. You always take the sign of the box closest to you. And then b to the third and b squared have a b squared. That seems familiar. I just did that, right? Here, 5 and 15 have a positive 5. B to the 1, but there's no b here, so I can't use it. 3b squared plus 5 is what I have down the left side. When I do the other, we go up on both columns. So 3 and 5 don't have anything in common. B to the third and B both have a B to the 1. 9 and 15 both have a 3 in common, positive, closest box. B squared does not have anything in common with 15. So one of the reasons I like this so very much is because I can multiply back in and make sure that it works. 3b squared times b is b to the third. 3b squared times 3 is 9b squared. 5 times b is 5b. That was a little heavy on the highlight. And 3 times 5 is 15. So you see that it works, and then you just write your answer. So we again have 3b squared plus 5 and b plus 3. Remember, the parentheses could be swapped. b plus 3 could be first, like it was over on the first answer, but what's inside the parentheses has to stay. Okay?